Hello, crafters and artisans, and welcome back to Psychedelic Squid Fiber Arts. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to fix the bottom portion of the drive wheel supports. You can see this one is cracked and splitting, and the damage from the large nails they used to keep them secure. So, I'm going to cut these off and replace it with new pieces. First, I need to take some measurements. The first measurement I need to take is up to where the crack stops, so 3 1/16 inch. I'm going to label them A and B. So for A, I need 3 1/16 inch of body, and I'm going to want at least 1 inch for a dowel, so 4 1/16, and 1 inch for the chuck, so a total of 5 1/16 inches. Next, I need to measure how wide this part is. So 1 7/16 inch thick for part A. I'm also going to measure the end portion to get an idea of how thick to keep it. I can always sand it down later. For B, I'm going to have to do the flare above, so it'll be longer. So it'll be 3 3/4 inch, and the width is 1 5/8 inch here. And at the end, it is 1 1/4 inch. I think this is more accurate, so I'm going to do part A tapered to 1 1/4 inch as well. Actually, I'm going to go to 1 3/8 inch to give myself some wiggle room. Now, I'm going to measure out my lengths and cut the new wood down to size. So, 5 1/16 for part A and 5 3/4 inch for part B. I'm going to cut this part off with my scroll saw. I'm going to try and keep this cut as straight as possible along the existing grooves for both part A and B. Now, for my new piece, I just want to keep these cuts straight. So I'm going to sand down the cut ends of the supports to get them flat. Next, I'm going to mark the center of these posts so I can use it as a guide for drilling out a hollow for the dowel end of the new piece to fit into. Now, with part A in the chuck and my calipers set to 1 7/16 inch, I'm going to turn this piece down until it's round. And then I'll go back and check my diameter. I'll keep doing this until I get down to 1 7/16 inch. Once I have, I'm going to measure my length of 4 1/16 inch and then 1 inch for my dowel that I'll turn down to 3/4 inch. And I'm going to keep this thickness right next to it and take the end closest to the chuck down to 1 1/4 inch. Now I've got my desired diameter. I'm going to remark the end of this piece so I know where to cut it loose later. But I'm going to finish shaping it. Here I'm going to mark 1 inch line for my dowel. I'm going to turn this piece down so that the piece between these two lines is a straight line. Next, I'm going to start on the dowel portion. I accidentally shaved away my line, so I'll remark it when I check the diameter of my dowel end. Now that the end of the dowel is 3/4 inch, I'm going to cut in and bring it down to a uniform diameter. Now that I'm happy with the shape, I'm going to sand it down with 240 grit sandpaper. Then I'm going to use a saw to cut it off. I saw this technique on a different video and it worked, but I'm not certain I would recommend it. Now I'm just going to clean up that cut end and move on to part B. I'm going to repeat the whole process again for part B, but I'll have to include the extra little bit of decoration for the bottom part of the support. I got really excited about how all these were coming out, and I forgot to film me drilling out the supports with a 3/4 inch wood bit and gluing the new pieces in. Please let me know if you want me to clarify how I did this, or contact me if you have questions on this part. Here they are in the base. The one on the left needs a little more sanding so it'll match the height of the other one, but overall I'd say this went really well. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below, and feel free to visit my Facebook page or Instagram to ask clarifying questions or about things I haven't covered yet. Thank you all so much for exploring the depths of your creativity, and I'll see you next time.